going to one of the most memorable events in a young person's life, their high school graduation. At Imperial Academy, we've been admonished to soar like never before and have a future vision. We've also been admonished to do well, excel, and endure hardness. As many of you know, these are the Imperial Academy mottos for the past 4 years. They're the mottos that give us that jump start we need at the beginning of each school year. We receive these Imperial Academy themes of orientation, and they inspire us to start the school year off strong. They also motivate us to keep going when things get tough. When we meet that difficult or stressful assignment, we remember that Mr. Turgeon told us to do well so that we can excel and reach our highest potential. We also remember that we need to endure through the hard times and have a vision of our future. At Imperial Academy, we take these mottos to heart and we apply them throughout the year. These mottos give us the motivation we need to tackle the challenges that we are going to reach along the way. Well, tonight is my purpose to show you some of the challenges and the benefits of being an Imperial Academy online student. I began Imperial Academy 4 years ago, along with fellow onliners Rachel Culpepper and Julia Hayes. And the brick and mortar students were Justin Wainwright, Paris Turgeon, and Brandy Davis. We were all super excited and eager freshmen, just as any freshmen are going into high school. But us onliners didn't really know what to expect, simply because this was the first year they were going online. So it was going to be something new for everybody. Well, as we soon realized, there were a few challenges and difficulties we were going to have to meet along the way. One of those challenges was we honestly did not feel unified with the brick and mortar students. Because the school hadn't gone live yet, we were just having to watch pre-recorded videos of each class. So the teacher would record the class for the day, and then they'd send it to us, and we'd either watch it later that night or the next day. So basically, we were having to sit in our rooms, at our desks, in front of the computer, watching the teacher and the student interact with one another. They were able to, talk with each other, laugh, raise our hands, and answer questions. And that was something we all wanted to be a part of that first year. That was something we yearned for. Also, some of us were coming in from other online schools, but the majority of us were coming from public schools. So as you can imagine, it was a shock for us to go into a school that wasn't live, because we were so used to being able to raise our hands and answer the questions or ask questions or get help from the teacher right away. That was something that we were really missing that first year. That was something we struggled with not having. We wanted to have that hands-on participation. These were just a couple of the challenges we had to get over that first year. Freshman year, I was really struggling. I was stressed all the time, and I just felt like I couldn't meet the challenges. So I called my parents in one day and I said, I can't do this. I'm just too stressed, it's too difficult, I want to quit. Well, they told me something that inspired me to continue for the 4 years, something that motivated me to keep going. They said, Nick, I know it's tough. I know right now it looks like you can't do this, but you don't want to be the one that quit. You don't want to be the one that's remembered as not being able to do this. You want to be the one that overcame and finished strong. And trust us, right now it might seem stressful, but in 4 years at your graduation, it will have all paid off. And right now, as I'm sure all the students graduating with me tonight would agree, it has paid off. Every little stress, every little challenge, every difficult assignment we had to get over has paid off right now at this moment, now that we're graduating. The onliners that were there with me that first year, or even the second year, I'm sure would agree when I say we're glad we could be a part of it when it was tough. We're glad we could be there when it wasn't perfect, because it made us appreciate it that much more when it did become what it is today. I mean, sure, it's still not perfect according to some, but it's really come so far, and it sure is going to always be a struggle for us onliners. There's always going to be the technological problems, there's always going to be little personal issues that we have to get over. But what we realized that if we were going to make it through IA, if we were going to be able to finish strong, we had to keep God at the forefront of our education and pray about everything. We knew we could not do this alone. We knew that if we ever met a stressful assignment, if we just went to God and prayed about it, then we would be able to make it through. And when you put the challenges and the benefits that you're going to face in Imperial Academy side by side, the benefits outweigh the challenges by far. Those problems that I previously stated, they're not issues anymore. We do feel unified with the brick and mortar students. That was just a barrier we had to get through that first year. There's no way we could have built the friendships that all of us have built if it weren't for IA. IA gave us the opportunity to get to know one another better. A lot of parents worry before putting their kids into Imperial Academy Online that their kids won't be able to have the opportunity to participate or be involved with the live students. But they shouldn't worry about that because Imperial Academy Online has become something awesome. I mean, really, we go to class every day. We can raise our hands, we can answer questions. The students see us, we're able to be involved on the in-class conversation. I mean, really, we have a lot of fun in those classes. And no other school gives a student in Canada, Indiana, and Edmond the opportunity to receive the same first-class education at the same time. We're being taught by people who have been immersed in the headquarters focus, and in return, we receive that headquarters focus. Throughout my high school career, I was taking various classes at the public school. I was taking a few electives and doing some sports, but freshman year I took a math class, and I'm glad I did because it really did give me a lot of insight into what a great education Imperial Academy is. There was this one time where the teacher was telling the students in his class that we didn't have to do the homework. It wasn't mandatory. We were just mainly being graded off of our tests and quizzes. But coming from Imperial Academy, I knew that if I was going to do well in that class, I had to get the homework done. So one time the teacher briefly taught the lesson and I was able to work on the homework while everybody else was talking. And after I got it done, I was taking it up to the teacher, and as I was walking by, one of the students went, "What a nerd." I was a little bit taken back by this, but that's okay. And that statement showed me how the attitude that a lot of students have in public schools. They assume anyone who actually does their work is an overachiever. Kids in school today are just gliding through. They're not pushed to excel. There was also another time when a fellow student asked me, he said, "So do you actually do your homework?" And of course I said, "Yeah," and then he would question me again. He said, "What's the point?" This isn't to say that all students in public schools are underachievers. There are plenty out there that actually do try. But, we know in Imperial Academy that we can't pass without doing our work. Imperial Academy gave us the fundamental basis of true knowledge. We know we have to do our work and actually try if we're going to succeed. Sure, it's going to be tough. There is a high academic standard at Imperial Academy. But if you stay close to God and you realize this school is like none other, then you can make it through no problem. One of the biggest benefits of IA is also probably one of the biggest cliches out there. But it's a cliche because it's so true. And that is, Imperial Academy is a training ground for college. Whether you're going to AC directly after high school or you're going to take a year off, you will always have that foundation of knowledge that you received at IA. That is something that will never leave you. I've talked to so many AC students now who were previously at IA, and they say how much being a part of IA helped them with the workload and the time management. That's not to say that you're just going to glide through AC if you go to IA. You still will most likely meet struggles, but there are so many benefits to doing IA that it'll help you in the long run. At Imperial Academy, we are continuing in a legacy started by Mr. Armstrong. He started Imperial Schools and Ambassador College, and we are following in his example. God has a history of using his people to form colleges and schools based off of education from the Bible. He used Samuel to instruct young people in the way to live and the way to teach others to live. While at Imperial Academy, we aren't just learning simple book knowledge. We're learning that way to live. Mr. Fleury said in his AC commencement address, the goal that you students should have at God's schools is to change the course of history. Although this was directed to the AC students, this is true for us in IA today. We are the future of AC and the leaders of tomorrow. In closing, we seniors would just like to thank a few people. We want to thank Mr. Gerald Fleury for being inspired to start an Imperial Academy and for giving us this priceless opportunity. We also want to thank Mr. Turgeon for motivating us to have a vision and endure. And all the teachers and staff that stood by us, guided us, and had faith in us. And most importantly, we would like to thank our parents who encouraged us, uplifted us, and kept the vision alive. At Imperial Academy, we are bringing the government of God back into education. Imperial Academy was a struggle those first 2 years, but now it has become something inspiring and incredible. Take pride in this school and take pride in the fact that you are an Imperial Academy student.